Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Fondjoy James Gunn movie, David Corenswet, Superman. I ordered this figure from Boosby. It arrived today, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you see at the top, DC. Officially licensed DC merchandise in the 1/9 scale. Fondjoy is usually advertised as about 8 inches tall, but they're closer to 7 inches, which is why you get them. Superman flying right toward you. DC Studios Superman. 1/9 scale action figure, Fondjoy, DC, Superman, Warner Brothers. Here's the front of the box. One side, Superman action figure. Other side, same thing. At the back, here's the figure, posed up, bunch of accessories, and there's his barcode if it helps. Fondjoy style packaging. Open up and expose your figure. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright. Now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. He has a display stand, 6 interchangeable hands, a sort of collector's card press pass thing, 2 different versions of Krypto, and a flight stand for one of them. Before we take a look at all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So this is Superman in the James Gunn Superman film, played by David Corenswet. By this time, most of us have already seen the movie. I have the McFarlane version, the Spin Master version, and now the Fondjoy version. I'm not planning to get the figure arts of the Mezco. They're going to be quite a bit pricey. If they're Batman related, maybe. But I do enjoy the Fondjoy figures. I want to check him out, see how he fits in with the other Fondjoy figures, and next to the McFarlane toys. So let's take a closer look. Starting with his head. Now the face, I can totally see it there. I mean, something's a little off, a little bit soft, maybe in sort of the forehead area. But the eyes, the mouth, I can definitely see it. Not perfect, but man, if you saw their old stuff, you would call this perfection. The suit looks great. The symbol, the texturing, the different sort of lines. Very well done, visually pleasing. The torso cut is really not so bad going to the stomach. I mean, it's noticeable, but not hideous. Now, the trunks do look kind of hideous, but they look just like they did in the movie. Almost like boy shorts, just sort of coming out for the side too much. I hope they find a sort of different way to handle them in the second film. Like I said, the texturing is very nice. Double-jointed elbows, double-jointed knees. He's got a soft goods cape with a wire in it. The Superman logo on the back. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt. I think it looks pretty good. It's not perfect. It's not a 10 out of 10, but it's at least an 8 out of 10 head sculpt. And I wanted to take a closer look at the texture on his suit. It looks very sharp, very clear. I like it. It's visually very pleasing. And there's a different texturing on the Superman emblem. And then, here's a figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. And he really only comes with 2 major things, hands and Krypto. The rest is more or less a bunch of junk. So let's take a look at everything though. So he has this little sort of collector's card thing. Daily Planet Press Pass. Clark Kent. Daily Planet. I mean, it's cool, but what am I going to do with this? And then we have his display stand. It comes in 2 separate pieces. When put together, it looks like this. The base has the new Superman logo, the sort of Kingdom Come type logo. It says Superman. Then it has this sort of post coming up. The post can rotate at the bottom, hinge at the bottom, hinge in the middle, hinge at the top, rotation at the top, and this clamp to hold your figure. Now let's look at his hands. He has 6 of them. 3 left hands and 3 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And then with his second pair of hands, these are a pair of sort of relaxed hands. But they could also be some holding hands or sort of stopping hands or, maybe carrying Lois Lane in the air type hands. And his third pair of hands, these are a pair of flight hands. I think every single Superman figure out there should come with a pair of fists and a pair of flight hands, and this guy comes with both, and another pair. Nice job, Fondjoy. Now to take a look at Krypto. they decided to include 2 different versions of Krypto the Superdog instead of articulating him. And I kind of get it, because articulation would make the sort of fur look ugly and cut up the sculpt. And it's kind of cool to have 2 different versions. So let's take a closer look. As you can see, this is the flying version. It's got the white fur. It's a pretty good sculpt. Paint job is pretty much all white, just one color. Could probably use a little bit of shading for some realism. Paws are pretty dark. The one ear's were cocked up. It looks good. Looks cute. Little collar. Cape with the Superman logo. Little hole for the flight stand there. And then we have the regular version, just sort of standing there. Now, I do want to point out, it does have articulation in the jaw, which is quite interesting, and at the neck. So you can give a little bit of personality that way. This one here also has articulated jaw. And neck as well. Kind of interesting to make such an unusual point of articulation in the jaw and not to give it anything else. They could have at least given it sort of cuts in the legs. Still, it's cool. Here's Krypto utilizing the flight stand, if you want to call it that. I mean, look at his paw. It's literally like 0.1 inches off the ground. All it really does is just sort of put him in a stable position, but he's damn near touching the floor right now. Here are these 2 Fondjoy Krypto figures on the left and right, next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse version in the middle. No articulation, cloth soft goods cape. And here, next to the Spin Master 6-inch version, which I believe is the same one that's in the 3-inch figures as well. And here, with the Fisher-Price League of Super Pets Krypto. Next, with a couple of McFarlane DC Multiverse comic versions of Krypto the Superdog. Give me quite a few versions of Krypto the Superdog. Not bad for a Batman collector, huh? Now I want to talk about his cape. He has a cloth soft goods cape. On the back, we have the Superman logo. It stretches out about that far. Pretty nice. And it does have a bendy wire on either side. You can have it take different poses. Kind of floating in the wind behind him. I like to have it floating in the air. And I know a lot of you guys have seen me do this a few times before. But an easy way to have that sort of flowing in the wind is take it, wrap around your finger up, and then around another finger back down, and another time back up, and then maybe back down one more. His wire seems a little bit weaker, as it's not attached up here. It starts over here, and that kind of sucks. It makes it a little bit less convincing. If it were attached up here, bam, you could just sort of hold it, and then it would do something like that. So a little bit disappointed with how that works up here. Still, there's plenty of stuff you can do with it. You know, he's holding his arm, you know, etc., etc. But could be a little better. A little bit limp there. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, let's check out his height. And he's a little bit taller than I expected. He feels on the big side of things. From bottom to the top of his head, standing right about 7.6 inches tall, which can translate to just over 19 centimeters. He's going to be a little bit taller than his McFarlane David Corenswet Superman figure. And for his articulation, starting with his head, of course he can rotate side to side. He can look up about that far, down quite a bit more. Can tilt his head at least a little bit from side to side. He has articulation at the top of the neck and a little bit at the bottom of the neck, but it seems to only really go forward and back down there. Shoulders and a ball joint. Goes out 90 degrees. Kind of drop down a little bit. Push it back up in there. Goes up all the way. Down. Bicep cut. Double jointed elbows. They only go in about this far, but that's pretty good. His wrist can rotate, and it's hinged. And his torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotates the tiniest bit, and really, well, okay, forward and back a little bit more. And his waist, rotate around, forward and back a lot more. The waist gets a ton more than the torso. Legs, they go out about that far. Ball joints. Go forward. About that far. Back not much. There's good rotation in there. Double jointed knees. And the ankle. Forward and back. Rotate, not much. Tilt rock. And toe articulation. Here's a look at this Superman in a hero pose above Metropolis, with both of the Krypto accessories next to him. And here he is in a flight pose, utilizing the flight hands. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other James Gunn movie Superman figures. Here's the Fondjoy David Corenswet Superman next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse version. This is the collector's version with the cloth soft goods cape. Fondjoy did a better job on how they connected the cloth cape. As you can see, the connection kind of comes up to a flat part here instead of just a point. And I'll tell you, I like the McFarlane figure, but the price is just going up and up and up. $35 now for these guys, and I mean, this ends up probably being about $50, although the retail is less than $50, but you gotta get it shipped here. And it looks so much better. Now, size-wise, it's only a little bit bigger. I mean, it is bigger. It's probably about 0.3 inches taller, but it's not 8 inches, about 7.5. But the detail is just amazing on this guy. So clean, so crisp. Cape could be a little better. The material, it's fine, but the bendy wire is weak. And not connected up there really sucks. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a superior figure to McFarlane. It does cost more, but you get what you pay for. And then, here's the Fondjoy version next to the Spin Master 6-inch version. There's a huge size difference and a huge quality difference. Fondjoy is sort of a high-end collectible item, at least to a point. It's priced pretty fairly. It's cheaper than the Mayfax or Mezco or Figure Arts things. And then the Spin Master version is a really cheap value item. They run for about $10 a piece, and it's kind of a basic crappy figure, but for the price, it truly is amazing. Now, this particular version, I did head swap it with the 2-pack with the Kaiju Beast, which had a little bit of a better head, but it's about the best you're going to get. And considering this guy is about $40 plus shipping, this guy's about $10. Like I said before, you get what you pay for. So, here's the Fondjoy, McFarlane, and Spin Master versions of the David Corenswet Superman. Small, medium, or large, take your pick. Now let's check them out next to some other James Gunn movie Superman figures. Here is the entire Fondjoy collection, at least so far. We have Superman and Lex Luthor, both excellent figures. Looking forward to doing the review on Lex Luthor soon. And then, here he is with McFarlane's entire DC Multiverse Superman wave. Pretty nice wave, although I'm really surprised they didn't make Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. Superman fits in pretty well with them, especially with Ultraman, which is a pretty big figure in itself. Then, with all the characters that Spin Master made in the 6-inch scale, I do wish one of the companies would give us the entire Justice Gang, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Guy Gardner, as well as a better Engineer and Hammerer figures. Here's a Superman next to McFarlane's comic version of Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Mr. Terrific, the Justice Gang. And here, next to McFarlane's Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill Superman figures. Now let's check him out next to some other Fondjoy figures. Here he is next to the Henry Cavill blue and black suit Superman figures. These are some older Fondjoy figures, and frankly, they're horrible. You know, maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but they're pretty bad figures. Fondjoy is supposed to be making a 2.0 version, and it should be up to their current quality standards. Looking forward to that. Fondjoy continued to make DC figures, but nobody was really paying much attention. They didn't look all that good. They were very sort of plasticky and toyetic. They were showing some significant improvements with their Aquaman 2 figures, but still sort of lacking. It was when they made this Ben Affleck movie Batman that really put Fondjoy on the map. The quality was fantastic. The durability, just the way he felt, the texturing, the cape, the likeness, it was all there. They really stepped their game up with this release and put them on the map, and now everybody wants Fondjoy figures. They continued to make more Batfleck figures, and they were just fantastic. Justice League, Batman vs Superman, and the armored suit. They also made Robert Pattinson Batman, which was fantastic quality as well. And here are the most recent Fondjoy figures that I've gotten. Lex Luthor, Superman, and Tactical Suit Batman. Here's a look at my entire collection of Fondjoy figures. I believe I have all of them now. All the old ones and all the new ones, except for the Nightmare Batman. I'll have to get a hold of him soon. If there's any I am missing that I'm not aware of, please drop me down in the comments below. Now let's check them out. Next is some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a Fondjoy figure, they run about 7.5 inches tall. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. Here he is, next to several different McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures, and now with some Jack-specific wrestling figures and Diamond Select toys. Here's Superman next to a Lime, and here he is with some DC Direct and NECA Superman figures, then with both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures, and now with some Mezco and Mattel Superman figures, next with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends, and finally with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, I'm really liking this Fondjoy Superman figure. He looks great. He's very bright, colorful. It all pops. The texturing is fantastic. I really like the way he looks. And even though the shorts are kind of dumb, they look so accurate to the film. The only real negative thing I would say is, the likeness, like I said, is probably 8 out of 10. Could be a little bit better, but it's pretty good. His cape, I found a little bit disappointing. The wire could be a little bit stronger, and if it was connected at the sort of shoulder area, it would work so much better. Beyond that, it's a fantastic figure. I love the fact that you get 2 Krypto the Super Dogs, his extra hands. It's all good stuff. Sure, there could be more accessories, but I'm pretty pleased with what you get. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to have to give him an 8 out of 10. I'm really liking this figure. I really like the way the suit looks. Very, very well done. Very sharp. The face could be a little better. The suit looks like 9.5 out of 10. The face like an 8 out of 10. Figure as a whole, 8 out of 10. Very nice. Love the accessories, especially Krypto. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate we do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.